Welcome to the Old Guy Bourbon Channel. Why do we call it that? Because I'm an old guy and well, that's usually bourbon. Not today. Before we get into it, a couple things. First of all, please like, subscribe, share, ring the notification bell, leave a comment. You know the drill. Help an old guy out. So, again, as I say, we usually do bourbon on this channel, but my friend Bill lent me this bottle of Rittenhouse Rye Bottled and Bond, 100 proof, to do a review on. So, that was kind of him. Thanks, Bill. And a couple things before we get into the review is on the back of the label it says it's a Pennsylvania style or a Monongahela. I have a hard time saying that sometimes. A Monongahela mash bill, or not a mash bill, but in the style of a Monongahela or a Pennsylvania rye. Well, this Rittenhouse rye, of course, it's a Heaven Hill product coming out of Kentucky. But the mash bill is 51% rye, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. Now, a Pennsylvania rye or a Monongahela mash bill rye is 80 to 100% rye. So it's obviously not a Pennsylvania style. It's not the mash bill. Maybe it's a style. I don't know if there's a difference between style and mash bill, but the Pennsylvania ryes are usually a lot spicier because they're 80 to 100% rye. And usually the other 20% is malted barley if they're 80% mash bills. Now, I do have coming up in the future an actual Pennsylvania style rye, also out of Kentucky, but it's 80% rye and 20% malted barley. So that's the only beef I got with it so far. I forgot to look up the price on this. I think it's $30 or $35 here in Pennsylvania. Again, it's somebody else's bottle, and I appreciate trusting me with their bourbon, especially me with bourbon. So the color is a nice copper color. Very nice copper color. Let's get it on the nose here, huh? Now, you do get a little rye spice there. Not overly spicy. Getting that little bit of mint you get from ryes. Not all ryes, but some ryes. And I'm getting some floral notes, some grassy notes, and nothing wrong with that. Let's take a little sip. Now, again, this is a bottle and bond, so it's got to be at least 4 years old and 100 proof. Again, the first sip of the day, I'm not going to go into that a lot. So right away, it's a rye. That rye spice is there. Very, very nice, but also so much honey sweetness, almost cloyingly sweet. Now, for somebody that really loves sweet things, I can tell you from my first sip of this, wow, is that sweet. A lot of honey sweetness. It's really coating the tongue. But that rye spice is there to kind of offset it. Getting a little bit of oak, some cinnamon. Let's do a second nosing here. Man, that's sweet. I was surprised how sweet that is. And that was the first sip of the day, so I got a little bit of alcohol there. But man, that sweetness just really powerful. Like I said, that little light mint on the nose. Not really spicy. You can tell there's rye spice in there, but I'm getting more honey sweetness and floral and grassy notes, like I said. And then I can pick up some banana. And lately I've been getting banana and some things other than the Old Foresters things. Get a little, and some peaches. Let's take that second sip now that I'm acclimated to the alcohol. Again, that rye spice just attacks the tongue now. Really rye. A little peppery, cinnamon on that tongue. A little bit of oak coming through. Again, now I'm picking up some peaches and banana. Again, that honey sweetness. Now, the second sip, that sweetness isn't so overpowering. So maybe this bourbon rye opened up a little bit, or just the way my palate's getting used to it. Again, very nice color on it. And, this probably is just the 4 years old, but 4 years old, nothing wrong with that. Age isn't everything, in a whiskey. Now that nose, again, getting a little bit of that rye, but the floral and grassy notes are what I get the most of. Again, that honey sweetness is there. Some banana, peaches. Maybe if I really, really dig, a little bit of green apple. Like a Granny Smith, which is my favorite apple. It's really the only apple I eat anymore, other than if I'm making an apple pie. Let's take that last sip for the review. Well, that time I held it in my mouth a lot, rolled it around my mouth a lot. And again, that rye spice just coats the tongue of cinnamon, black pepper. Very, very nice. Now, one thing I will say is that overpowering sweetness, almost a cloyingly sweetness I got on that first sip, these next two sips, I didn't get that. There's still that sweetness there, but now it's in the background. It's nice. The spice more forward, more prevalent. And now it's a very nice balance, with the sweetness along with that. I don't know what went on with that first sip. I just thought it was like cloyingly sweet, but I haven't got that since, so I can't explain that. There's still a sweetness there, but now the rye spice is forward. That cinnamon, the black pepper. Again, I'm getting some bananas and some peaches. That honey sweetness is there. It's got a pretty decent mouthfeel. Not a thin mouthfeel by any means, so that's nice. On the finish, it's a medium finish. That rye spice and that black pepper hangs around. A little bit of mint, some cinnamon, some honey sweetness. I'm not really getting anything else. Man, I'll tell you, all in all, for $30 or $35, again, we got to talk about price. For $30 or $35, I think it's a heck of a buy. If you want to try something different other than bourbon, this is again, that first sip, I don't know what happened with the overly cloyingly sweet. That went away. This is a good, I would recommend this for the price again. Let me take one last sip here. See what I get here. Yeah, again, now that the spice is just forward now and the sweetness is there. Much better balance. I don't know. I don't know what happened with that first sip. I really don't. But now I would say it's like 70%. That spiciness to 30% sweetness, just to put it on a scale. So very nice. If you like something spicy and a reasonably priced, and a fair, 100 proof is kind of a lot of people's maximum proof. They don't like it really proofy. A really good bottle here. I'd recommend it. I'm surprised how much I like it. In that sweetness now, again on the finish, I'm picking up more sweetness. This is actually, it's actually kind of complex for I don't want to say bargain alcohol, but a moderately priced, $30, $35, whatever it is. I'd recommend it. So that's all I have for today. If you hung around this long, I appreciate it. I do tend to ramble sometimes late at night. Sunday night, I'm going to upload this Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, sometime Monday. I got to get my cat in for nail trimming. If any of you watch The Last of Us, on HBO or Max, on the streaming service. I watch it on the streaming service Max. I really like The Last of Us. Yes, today was 9 o'clock. The new. It was a little after 9 when I started watching it, but season 2, episode 2. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but what the hell were they thinking? I mean, I was just shocked and disappointed. Just in how the events unfolded. Not that the writing was great, the storyline's great. Very, I just thought what happened is what disappointed me. Hey, if you watch it, leave a comment. But that's all I have. And again, thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time.